Welcome. Today is January 1st, 2026, and we are at the new year. And today's live stream is really unintentional, but intentional because I decided to do these every Thursday at 10 a.m. And like Christmas Day happened to fall on Thursday, New Year's Day happened to fall on Thursday. And I hope you're starting off this awesome new year watching my live stream and letting me know. So if you're on the live stream, please comment and let me know you're there and tell me where you're from. I'd love to hear where you're from. That's always very, very exciting to know where people are from. Okay, so we're starting off. This live stream is like basically all about the important metrics that you should be watching for 2026. Have they changed from 2025? Or more importantly, where is your focus and what metrics are you looking at? And what metrics should you look at? What metrics do you not have to look at? Which metrics should you delegate? And it's kind of like all the metrics are kind of important, but what you focus on and what you decide to look at does influence exactly what you're thinking about. Basically, this live stream is more for chief marketing officers. So if you're a chief marketing officer or a business owner, these are the metrics that you should be looking at, but not disregarding the others. So let's go. Let me list off these really, really quick, and then maybe we'll go into them in a little bit more detail. Uh, the first metric is the pipeline that's influenced by YouTube, right? Because we're specifically looking at YouTube and how it's influencing your business. The second one is your revenue that was influenced through YouTube, your closed deals and which ones were influenced, your cost per lead, your lead quality, your brand search, if it's been lifted or not. Of course, the audience quality. Are you reaching the right audience? Your engaged watch time, your content assisted deal velocity, right? So that's like, did the content help you close the deal faster? Your return on your ad spend, have you looked at that? And content longevity. So these are like, I just wanted to come up with 10 real quick that are really important metrics to look at. But I mean, if you went to business school, if you studied this kind of stuff, then this is common sense, right? If you're more on the creative side, this is not that much of a common sense kind of thing, but definitely things that you need to look at, especially if you're a chief marketing officer and you need to answer to the executives on the board or the CEO or whoever's in charge, right? And these are the metrics that they want to hear. They don't want to hear subscribers, views. I mean, let's look at these, right? Subscribers, view count, how many people liked the video, that kind of stuff really is not important to the executives because those are like, they could be vanity measures because they don't really affect the business. I mean, let's just say, for example, yeah, I remember I was talking to a client once and I was like, hey, look, we got 40,000 subscribers now. And he's like, well, that doesn't really matter. And and he was right. That doesn't matter. What matters for him is that his business growing because of YouTube? Is more revenue coming in because of YouTube? So one perfect example would be, let's say you sell helicopters and you've got, because your videos are so cool and you're showing the most amazing helicopters, and you've got, let's just say, 2 million subscribers to your channel. And out of those 2 million, 1,999,000, yeah, 1,999,999 of those subscribers are 12-year-olds because they love helicopters, because they like to play with little helicopter toys. That's definitely not going to boost your revenue because a 12-year-old, you never know. I mean, you might have a 12-year-old that's the prince of Saudi Arabia that wants a helicopter and his dad buys him a helicopter, but that's such a rare case. And that's, then that's totally why looking at subscribers is not what you want to look at. So let's look at the very, very first one that I mentioned, and pipeline influenced by YouTube. So that's like, how much potential revenue has YouTube touched? Like has it influenced it? Um, has it, yeah, like let's say um, $5 million of revenue coming into the company, and let's just say 2.5 million of that revenue was touched by YouTube, right? It was influenced by YouTube. It's good to know that. And of course, those are metrics that are not easy to discover, but you can. You just like you got to roll up your sleeves and get to work and figure out, how many clients actually were influenced through YouTube. And of course, your revenue influenced your closed deals. That's easy to look at because I mean, I remember, I had one client and he comes up to me and he says, Eric, you'll never guess what, man. I went to a house and talked to the lady, and she said, hey, I saw you on YouTube, and he closed the deal right there. And so it's easy for him to know that that closed deal was definitely influenced by YouTube, right? And you want to be able to track those metrics. So if you're a chief marketing officer, or even executive or business owner, an entrepreneur, and you have salespeople, talk to them, ask them, because usually clients will talk about that with the salespeople. Hey, I saw your video on YouTube, or the salespeople can ask them, because those are important metrics to actually have up your sleeve, especially if you're a chief marketing officer and you need to report to the executives and say, yeah. Yeah, I remember, for example, I was doing videos for a rock gym, and I was in the locker room, and then the owner comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, those videos aren't working." But then I was in the locker room and talking to somebody, and I was like, "Hey, well, so how'd you hear about the gym?" He goes, "Well, I saw it on YouTube, and I came in." So that was directly influenced by the video, which of course I didn't report to the owner. I didn't at that time. I mean, this is like 10 years ago. So I was like, well, I did tell him. I said, hey, I did. I was talking to somebody, and that's powerful. It's a powerful metric that you need to be able to get in touch with. Okay, so the next one, of course, very, very business oriented, is cost per lead. Do you know your cost per lead? And then how can you figure out how much money are you spending to produce the videos, and then how many leads are coming in? Then you can kind of figure that out. Is it efficient? Is it too expensive? Are you spending too much? Um, I know some production budgets are really, really big. If you hire, dude, I just saw a video the other day. Was it, I think it was Jennifer Lawrence was like on an ad on YouTube. And I was like, whoa, that was very expensive, right? So that's costing the business a lot of money. Their cost per lead went way up, right? So you can adjust those figures and figure that out. And of course, that's for me, that's part of the fun part. That is exciting. All right. Let's see. So sorry about that. So we got cost per lead, lead quality, right? Yeah. So sometimes you get a bunch of leads. I did have a client once that actually complained to me. She said, Eric, I'm getting a lot of leads, but they're the clients that I don't want. So then we immediately figured out, okay, the quality of her leads are not good. They're not what she wants. And so we went back to the drawing board and kind of redid stuff and fixed stuff. And then, it's just all about the message and how you're communicating that message to people. But definitely that's something you want to look into, is how's your lead quality? Brand search lift, right? That's the fifth topic that we're talking about for metrics to look at for 2026. And like, are people actively searching for you, right? So that's you're also creating brand awareness through your videos, and then that's kind of trickling out, and then people go back and search for you. Are they searching? So you can get those metrics from Google. Google is wonder They have an amazing back end for analytics that you should be looking at, right? Okay, so back to number six is audience quality is kind of like the same thing as lead quality, but a little bit different. I mean, like, what, are you reaching the right people? So back to that helicopter example, if you are reaching 12 year olds and they have no power to buy a helicopter, are you reaching the right audience? That's like a really important metrics to look into and discover. how do you need to realign your message? What different thing do you need to do so that you're actually reaching your audience? And but for me, that's basic um, business. Like, know your client, know your avatar, know who your customer is. If it's a 46-year-old woman with two kids with a degree in engineering, are you creating the content that is geared towards that person, right? Are you using the language to communicate with that person? I think a 46-year-old would be a maybe a Gen Z. We got the builders, we've got the baby boomers, then we've got the Gen X, the millennials, the Gen Z, and the Gen A. And what language does each group use? Which each generation? I mean, what are the things that they grew up with? That's like really important in reaching your audience, um, and getting the right audience. Okay, so next metric I mentioned earlier is engaged watch time. That's really important. Are people paying attention? Did you put out a video on YouTube? And remember, we can go into the back end of the analytics and look at every single one of these metrics. Um, are people paying attention? Do they watch the video? That's like that's major. If they dropped off in the first 30 seconds, why did they drop off in the first 30 seconds? Are you actually helping them solve a problem? What's the value proposition that you are delivering through those videos? Um, okay, so we can look into that one more. I mean, um, content assisted deal velocity. That's a good one. Um, are the deals closing faster? So back to one of my clients when he walked in the house and he's like, "Yeah, I saw you on YouTube," and he closed the deal right there. He didn't have to call them back again. He didn't have to follow up. He didn't have to really like do the sales talk. It was closed already. So that deal velocity, how fast you close the sale, can really hugely be influenced by your YouTube videos because you're creating this trust, you're creating this authenticity. Um, okay, let's see. Let's go on to the next one. Your return on ad spend, right? How much money are you spending on ads? And what's your return? Now, I highly do not recommend that you place ads on your channel because that will warp the analytics, the data that you're getting from the channel, because you're actually pushing it out to more people. You will have a sharper drop off. It'll be harder to see where your viewers are dropping off to adjust your content. Okay, and number 10, your content longevity. Is it evergreen? Are people like, did you post a video a year ago and you're still getting views on that video? That's very important. You need to really make sure you're looking into that, because if it's a trend, you get 100,000 views today, and then a year from now you get zero views. That video isn't really working for you 24/7 like it should. So make sure you're really diving into, is this evergreen content? Okay, so let's take a little break here, and we've got Mr. Kiganza. Hey, how's it going? And Tomoko. True, I don't understand the language of some videos. No, that's very true. Like I think Tomoko, when you don't understand the language of the videos, it's because it's geared to a completely different audience, and that happens to me sometimes too. I'm like, what was this new word that's is it like 6 9? I have no idea what 6 9 means. That's like, I actually went to ChatGPT and looked it up, and even ChatGPT couldn't tell me what it meant because he gave me a whole bunch of different meanings of it that I was like, what? Okay, that I still don't get it. Okay, so we've covered the metrics that you should look at as, like, let's say you're a chief marketing officer, a business owner, an executive. That those are very, very important metrics. And again, if you're not familiar with these metrics, dude, YouTube is a great resource. Alex Hormozy is amazing. This guy, he's got an amazing YouTube channel. He dives deep into this stuff, and like I've read all of his books, and I love the stuff. It's like really, really business centered, and it really helps you build your business in a way that most people have no idea. I love it. Okay, now if you're a chief marketing officer or an executive, what metrics should you not be looking at? right? Subscriber count, likes and comments, raw view counts, CTRs with no business context, click through rates with no business context, algorithm explanations, or like the video did well with no numbers kind of deal. Okay, so these are not important, but on the flip side, they're very important. So, you especially if you're a business owner. If you're a business owner, you're like wearing several different hats. You're like, okay, I need to understand lead generation. I need to understand my ad spend and my cost per ad spend, my cost per lead, all that stuff that's really business oriented. But then on the flip side, on the creative side, like let's say now I'm a business owner and now I've got to put on my creative hat and I've got to understand, of course, either way, you have to understand your viewer, your customer, your potential customer, and what it is I have to make. What problem do I have to solve so that they watch my full video? Then I need to understand, okay, what's my subscriber count? Like how many people are actually coming back to my channel because they see value in it? And of course, you tie that into your audience. Like, are you getting the audience that you want? Right. That's the business side. Is the audience that I want watching my videos? It's not 12-year-olds that want to buy my helicopter, but it's business, huge, like Fortune 500 business owners that have to get to work and they don't want to drive through traffic because driving through traffic is going to cost them $1 million. So they buy a helicopter. Uh, I heard that there was someone that had a helicopter in their backyard and they would fly their helicopter to work every morning. I mean, that's pretty cool. I would love to do that. So back to subscriber count. So, you're matching that up. I've got 1 million subscribers, but are those million subscribers the audience that I want to reach? Now, so let's say you've got your content producer, you're the chief marketing officer, you're the business owner, and you've got your content producer that is going to create the content for you, and you're communicating with them, and you're saying, hey, okay, I need 55-year-old business executives watching my videos. So then the content producer has to make sure that he's creating that content. Now like I'm as a content producer, I am looking at subscribers. I am looking at likes. I am especially comments. I'm looking at comments because that helps me gauge, okay, is this person my target audience? Like if it's a kid and he's going like, oh, that helicopter is totally rad. I dream about that every night when I'm going to sleep, or if it's a business executive in the comments and he's saying, well, I like the efficiency of that helicopter because it's going to save me money, right? So then you through the comments you can kind of discover who your audience is, and that would be for the content producer because then when you're coming up with the topic ideas, when you're coming up with the scripting, when you're coming up with the shots, you can gear those towards those people and those metrics, subscriber count, likes, comments, that's going to help you. Also the click-through rate, right? As a content producer, is my thumbnail performing, right? When someone clicks on it, and then are they staying to watch my video, and is it the right audience as a content producer, not as a business owner, because that's you want to delegate that as a business owner to the content producer, and you want to make sure you're on the same page with them so that they're actually producing the content that will influence those numbers in your business. Okay, so yeah, now do you guys have any questions about that? I mean, I pretty much covered a lot of that stuff. What would I like to dive deeper into, or what would you like me to dive deeper into? I mean, I love this stuff. I've been, one of the things I love doing is helping businesses grow using YouTube. To me, that's just so exciting because it works. I've seen it work time and time again, and I see like that. I have seen companies where there was no direct influence, and the content that we were producing was way off. But that's why you need to, as Daryl Leaves. Daryl Leaves is an amazing guy. I read his book. It's called The YouTube Formula. If you haven't read his book and you're doing YouTube videos, please pick that up and read it. It's going to be a resource, amazing resource for helping you gear your content towards the right viewer. But he said like you get this idea, right, and then you produce the content, and then after you produce the content, you upload it to YouTube, and then you go and you analyze it, right? And then after analyzing it, is it working? Is it bringing me the audience that I want? Then you adjust everything. And then after you adjust everything, you go back into the planning phase. coming up with the titles, coming up with the thumbnails, coming up with the scripting, coming up with the content. And then you produce it and you get it done, you execute it. And then again, after you execute it, you analyze it, right? So you're developing an idea, you're executing that idea, then you're analyzing that idea, and then you're adjusting along the way. And that circle, that cycle, you just have to continually do it every upload that you do. And as trends change, as your audience changes, you're constantly looking at that. Um, I really find that exciting. I mean, that's like the best thing that I enjoy about YouTube is getting to see that immediate change. Um, Going from hitting the right audience to not hitting the right audience, and then going back to hitting the right audience because of the content that you're producing. It's a lot of fun. Well, 2026 is here, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about helping you guys grow your business. If you haven't seen on my YouTube channel, so I've got my YouTube channel where I'm just trying every week to upload some content that's going to help you produce content on your YouTube channel that will help you grow your business, right? So again, I'm not looking at helping you grow your subscribers. I'm looking into helping you grow your business. Like if you want 10, 100 million subscribers, then this channel is not for you. But if you want to see a direct impact to your business, then this would be a great channel for you. So I've got weekly content that I put up every Tuesday at 9:07 a.m. I'm doing these live streams every week on Thursday at 10 a.m. Hopefully, I'll be able to hit every single Thursday this year. Sometimes, you never know what might happen, but the plan is to hit every single. These live streams are not as easy as uploading content on a scheduled basis because I actually have to be here live, and I want you here live because I want to be able to talk with you, and I want to see your comments. So, um, yeah, so I've got that. I also have a podcast that I'm doing. I've recorded 6 episodes so far, and that's more like on the branding side, branding your videos, branding your content, branding your Facebook channel, branding your Twitter. It's kind of focused around that, and that will be going up weekly as well. So I've got all these resources trying to help you guys build your business. So please remember, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, just tag it, and then there'll be a little, if you're on YouTube, right, just tag it. And then a little message will come up for bell icon, no bell icon. And that's just to let you know to get an alert. Like as soon as I put something up, it's going to send you a little alert. Hey, Content Guaranteed has a new video up, or Content Guaranteed is doing a live stream. And in the future, I definitely will be bringing guests on. I've done that on the podcast already. And I did do that for, no. I've been doing it on the podcast. I've been bringing guests in on the podcast. On the live stream, I will definitely bringing in guests so that you can ask questions and we can interact. That's the best thing about these live streams. I mean, that's the part I love the most, is that we get to talk to each other. I love hearing from you. I love, getting feedback from you. Like, that's the best part. So then, yeah, well, so we got the weekly video, the podcast, and the live stream, all to help you guys build your businesses for 2026. Let's do it together. Let's build together, generate more income for your business, more revenue, and just have a more quality, relaxed life. So I will see you. Happy New Year, and have fun.